When your heart is clear and your intentions are pure, even silence becomes magnetic. When your mind is still and your values are steady, your presence becomes medicine. Do not rush to be chosen. Become someone worth choosing. When the moment comes, you will not need to convince anyone. The right soul will recognize you in the quiet. Before you can ever introduce yourself to your soulmate, you must first be introduced to yourself. Not the self shaped by society, not the identity built from pain or past relationships, and certainly not the version of you that you perform to survive, but your true self, the one underneath all the noise, the one that exists in silence before the world had a name for you. We often look outward, searching for a person who can fill the spaces we haven't learned to understand in ourselves. We hope for someone to arrive and bring clarity to our confusion, joy to our sorrow, and strength to our weaknesses. But that's not the role of a soulmate. A soulmate is not a solution, they are a reflection. And you can only recognize them clearly if you first recognize yourself. There is a deep and often uncomfortable truth. If you have not yet met yourself, if you have not sat with your loneliness, if you have not examined your thoughts and softened your triggers, then the person you attract may not be your soulmate. They may just be your distraction. What you're calling love may just be a temporary relief from your own lack of connection with yourself. So what does it mean to know yourself? It means being willing to face silence without reaching for your phone. It means noticing your patterns without justifying them. It means asking yourself, why do I feel unworthy of love? And not flinching at the answer. It means being willing to sit in a dark room without distractions and listen to what your soul whispers. Knowing yourself is not about liking everything you see. It's about acknowledging all of it, your shadow, your fear, your longing, and choosing to accept it as part of your path. You do not reject yourself into healing. You do not shame your way into wholeness. You study yourself, you observe, you understand, and then you grow. When you begin to know yourself, your desires become clearer. You no longer chase love to escape loneliness. You seek love to share peace. You don't look for someone to complete you. You look for someone to walk with you. You are no longer looking for a savior, but a companion. This internal clarity changes everything. It shapes the way you speak, the way you listen, the way you carry yourself. You begin to move differently. Your energy becomes quieter, stronger, more grounded. People notice the shift, not because you are louder, but because you are more present. And the person who is truly meant for you will not just be drawn to your face or body. They will be drawn to the way your spirit feels calm around them. They will be pulled to you by a gravity that is invisible but undeniable. You do not need to rush this process. Knowing yourself is not a one-time task. It is a lifelong practice. You may find over time that the more you evolve, the more clearly you see what kind of love you are ready for. The clearer you are about who you are, the easier it becomes to introduce yourself, not just to a soulmate, but to the world. You don't hide, you don't shrink, you don't pretend. You simply offer your truth and let it resonate with the right soul. Many people speak of soulmates as a form of destiny. But what if your soulmate can only meet you when you become who you truly are? What if they are walking their own path of growth, waiting to meet you at the right moment? Not when you are desperate, not when you are lost, but when you are grounded. What if love is not found in searching, but in becoming? To know yourself is the most powerful act of preparation for love. It is also the most respectful thing you can do for your future partner, because when they finally arrive, they deserve to meet you, not your wounds, not your fears, not your masks, but your essence. So, before you write the words you want to say, before you plan how you will introduce yourself, make sure you've already said hello to the person within. Because no introduction to another soul can be authentic until you've made peace with your own. You cannot carry your unhealed wounds into a sacred connection and expect it to thrive. Before you introduce yourself to your soulmate, take time to heal the parts of yourself that are still bleeding. Otherwise, love becomes contaminated with the past. The pain that was never acknowledged will begin to speak in your relationships. The fear that was never soothed will dictate how you trust. The heartbreak that was never processed will quietly build walls where bridges should be. Healing is not about forgetting what happened. It's not about pretending you were never hurt. It's about reclaiming the power you gave away in those moments. It's about acknowledging the pain, allowing yourself to grieve, and gently transforming the suffering into wisdom. When you heal, you stop blaming the present for what the past did. You stop expecting your soulmate to clean up a mess they didn't create. The one you're meant for is not coming to save you. They are not coming to make you whole. They're not arriving to convince you that you are worthy. That work is yours. Your soulmate is not your emotional crutch. They are your reflection, your equal, your companion. If you have not done the inner work, their love will feel unfamiliar. It might even feel overwhelming because when you're still carrying pain, healthy love feels unsafe. Ask yourself, what version of me am I bringing to love? Am I still bitter from what was done to me? Am I still guarded because of the people who walked away? Am I still performing strength because I've forgotten how to be vulnerable? You must learn to close your own wounds with care, not by distraction. Many people jump from connection to connection in hopes that someone else will do the healing for them. But what you skip, life brings back around. The lessons will repeat until they are understood. And no matter how perfect someone may seem, they cannot make you feel secure if you have not built that security within yourself. To heal is to pause. It is to be brave enough to be alone, to feel what you once avoided, to forgive not just others but yourself, to reflect on where you've been and who you've become. It's not a quick fix. Healing takes time, it takes silence, it takes patience, but every moment you invest in your healing shapes the quality of the love you will receive. A healed heart doesn't mean you'll never feel pain again. It means you will not react from pain. It means you'll know how to respond with clarity instead of fear. You'll know how to communicate instead of push away. You'll be able to stay when things get difficult instead of running like you were once taught to. When you meet your soulmate, the universe will ask you one thing: have you made peace with yourself? Because if not, your pain will sabotage the love you prayed for. You might not believe you deserve it. You might reject it. You might question it constantly. This is why healing is an act of preparation, not just for love, but for receiving it fully. Do not rush the process just to avoid loneliness. Do not fill the silence with another person's voice. Sit with yourself, listen, cry, meditate, write, forgive, grow. This is the soil from which healthy love can bloom. Otherwise, you will find yourself planting seeds in broken ground, wondering why nothing takes root. Your soulmate deserves to meet the you that has faced your shadows, the version that doesn't punish others for the betrayal of your past, the version that chooses love, not fear, and you deserve to enter love without carrying the burden of unresolved pain. You deserve to experience what connection feels like when it's not tangled with your trauma. So before you introduce yourself to the one who is meant for your soul, ask yourself this: have I given myself the love I hope to receive? Because the quality of the introduction begins not with your words, but with your healing. Let your heart become a peaceful place for someone to land, not a battlefield for old memories. That is what it means to truly prepare for a soulmate. Not with flowers or charm, but with deep inner peace. Long before you speak, long before you say your name or share your story, something deeper has already spoken on your behalf. It is your energy, the unspoken language of your presence. It enters the room before you do, and it lingers long after you've left. This energy cannot be fabricated, disguised, or hidden for long. It reveals who you are, your inner state, your peace, your turmoil, your clarity or confusion. And it is this energy that introduces you to your soulmate far more powerfully than anything you will ever say. When people meet you, they are not just meeting your words or appearance. They are feeling you. They are sensing the frequency you radiate. A calm person will naturally be drawn to calmness in others. A grounded soul will recognize the resonance of peace. But if your energy is restless, anxious, heavy, or desperate, it will speak louder than your most beautiful words. This is why your focus should not be on what to say when you meet your soulmate. That moment is not about performance, it's about alignment. The real preparation begins long before the encounter, when you begin working on your inner world. When you discipline your thoughts, when you regulate your emotions, when you train your mind to be still, and your heart to remain open, your energy is a mirror of your inner reality. If you are at war with yourself, that war will be felt. If you are still searching for validation, that neediness will leak through your smile. If you are trying to impress, that effort will overshadow your authenticity. But when you are anchored in self-awareness and acceptance, people feel safe around you. They relax in your presence, not because of what you say, but because of who you are being. This kind of inner peace is magnetic. It is rare, and that rarity draws in those who are also seeking depth over noise. People may not be able to explain why they feel drawn to you. They may not have the words, but their spirit recognizes the calmness in yours. Your energy is your first impression, your silent introduction. It cannot be faked, and it cannot be rushed. This is why spiritual training, mindfulness, and emotional clarity are not optional. They are essential, not just for your own well-being, but for the quality of relationships you are capable of attracting. When you sit in meditation, when you walk in nature, when you detach from outcomes and reconnect to your breath, you are recalibrating your energy. You are tuning yourself into a higher frequency. You are preparing to be felt deeply, honestly, fully. In a world where noise dominates, silence becomes power. In a world that values image, authenticity becomes medicine. In a world of shallow introductions, a grounded presence stands out like light in darkness. Your soulmate will not just hear your voice, they will feel your truth, and that feeling will be undeniable. You do not need to explain yourself to the right soul. You only need to be yourself. If your spirit is restless, heal it. If your heart is guarded, soften it. If your mind is scattered, center it. Because when the moment comes, when you stand in front of the one meant for you, all of your preparation will speak for itself. You will not have to convince them, they will feel you and they will know. So do not underestimate the power of your energy. Let it be shaped by your daily habits, your thoughts, your intentions. Let your energy become your offering to the world. Not as a performance, but as a reflection of your inner alignment. Speak less, feel more, do less, be more. The soul you are meant to meet is not looking for perfection. They are looking for presence. And when you carry that presence within you, the universe will take care of the rest. We live in a world where noise is mistaken for connection, where constant communication is seen as a sign of interest, and silence is often misinterpreted as distance. But true power does not always speak. It does not beg to be heard. It does not need to explain itself. It simply is. And when it comes to preparing yourself for your soulmate, silence is not a void. It is a sacred space. A space where clarity is born and truth begins to echo. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of awareness. It is the environment where real understanding grows. In silence, the noise of the world fades, and you begin to hear what truly matters, your intuition, your breath, your heart, and it is only when you are comfortable in that silence that you are ready to meet another person in truth. Most people rush to fill silence because they are uncomfortable with themselves. They fear the stillness because it forces them to face what they've been avoiding. But if you cannot sit quietly with your own presence, how can you expect someone else to feel at home there? Silence teaches you patience, it sharpens your perception, it reveals what is authentic and what is reaction. When you practice silence, not just in your words, but in your thoughts and intentions, you begin to communicate from a deeper place. You no longer feel the need to impress. You no longer interrupt your own intuition with unnecessary noise. You begin to trust that the right soul will hear what your silence is saying. When you meet someone who is truly aligned with your soul, you will notice something remarkable. The silence between you will feel peaceful, not empty. There will be no urgency to prove anything, no need to perform. Just a quiet sense of recognition, a wordless understanding, a shared breath that says, "You see me, and I see you." The power of silence is in its purity. Words can deceive, but energy never lies. In silence, your energy speaks louder than anything you could say. It says whether you are at peace with yourself or still battling inner chaos. It shows whether you are present or distracted. Your silence is either a sanctuary or a storm. This is why silence is not something to fear. It is something to cultivate. In your daily life, make space for it. Rise before the world does and sit in stillness. Walk without headphones. Eat without distraction. Observe without judgment. The more time you spend in silence, the more fluent you become in the language of the soul. And when you speak, your words carry weight because they are born from stillness, not from reaction. In relationships, silence creates depth. It allows space for reflection, for feeling, for observing without rushing to respond. The person who is truly for you will not be disturbed by your silence. They will honor it, they will feel it, they will meet you there. Together, you will realize that love does not always need words. It only needs presence. Many people mistake silence for weakness, as if only the loud are strong, but real strength is calm. Real strength is found in restraint, in stillness, in the discipline to remain grounded when everything around you tries to pull you into chaos. A loud presence may grab attention, but a silent presence commands respect. When you are ready to introduce yourself to your soulmate, let silence be part of that introduction. Let your stillness reflect your depth. Let your calmness reflect your strength. Let your quiet confidence speak louder than noise ever could. In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, the soul listens for something deeper. It listens for the one who is not just speaking, but being. The one who is not just present in words, but in essence. And that kind of presence is only cultivated through silence. You were not born to chase love. You were not created to run after people, to beg for attention, to shrink yourself just to be noticed. That kind of pursuit comes from a place of lack, not from truth. The one who chases is often the one who feels unworthy, uncertain, or afraid. But real connection, the kind that nourishes the soul, does not begin with chasing. It begins with becoming. Attraction is not manipulation, it is not performance, it is alignment. When your values, energy, intentions, and lifestyle align with your inner truth, you naturally begin to attract people who resonate with that vibration. There is nothing forced, nothing strained. The attraction is organic. It flows without pressure. This is the power of presence over pursuit. So many people waste years chasing what they think will complete them. They run after validation, titles, appearances, attention, believing that if they can just get the right person to choose them, their inner void will disappear. But in truth, no one can choose you in a way that matters if you have not yet chosen yourself. You are not here to chase someone who doesn't see you. You are not here to prove your worth. The moment you begin to chase, you position yourself behind what you are pursuing. You give away your power. And the more you chase, the more you lose sight of your own path. You bend, you change, you abandon your center, all for someone who may never even be meant to walk beside you. But when you stop chasing and begin focusing on your own development, something shifts. You reclaim your energy, you redirect your attention inward, you build discipline, you strengthen your purpose, you cultivate silence and clarity, and that is when you become magnetic, not because of what you're doing, but because of who you're being. The most attractive people are not the loudest. They are not the ones always trying to be seen. They are the ones who are quietly rooted in themselves. They radiate peace. They have presence. They move through life with intention, not desperation. Their energy speaks of depth, and that depth draws others in. When you begin to embody this, you realize that love is not something you chase. It is something you invite, and the invitation is not a plea, it is a vibration. Your energy becomes the signal, and only those who are aligned with that signal will truly see you, truly feel you. To attract, you must align. Ask yourself, are my habits aligned with the kind of partner I want to meet? Is my mindset clear or chaotic? Do I honor myself, or do I compromise just to feel liked? Attraction is not about pretending to be perfect. It's about becoming real. Authenticity is irresistible. When you stop hiding who you are, the people meant for you can finally find you. It's restless, it exhausts your spirit, but attraction is quiet, it is effortless, it creates space for mutual recognition. The right soul will not need to be convinced. You will not have to chase them down. They will see you because your essence calls to them, not through words, but through frequency. So work on becoming the version of you that your soulmate deserves to meet. Focus on your health, your mindset, your boundaries, your peace. Learn to sit alone without fear. Learn to speak your truth without apology. Learn to walk your path without needing constant reassurance. This is how you create a life that is magnetic. And when you are living in alignment, love becomes a reflection, not a goal. It meets you where you are, not because you chased it, but because you prepared for it. You created the space, you honored the timing, you trusted the process, and when it arrives, you are not surprised. You are ready. You are not here to chase what is already written into your destiny. You are here to become the person who can receive it when it comes. A soulmate is not someone who completes you. They are not a missing piece of your puzzle. They are a mirror, clear, unflinching, and honest. They do not fix your brokenness. They reflect it back to you. They do not calm your chaos. They expose it. They do not heal your wounds. They make them visible. This is why the presence of a soulmate feels so powerful and sometimes so overwhelming, not because they arrive to rescue you, but because they help reveal you. When you encounter someone whose soul resonates with yours, their presence becomes a spiritual tool. You begin to see parts of yourself that were hidden in darkness. You recognize familiar fears, old patterns, deep hopes. Their energy awakens your own. Their silence mirrors your thoughts. Their actions reflect your deepest beliefs, both the conscious and unconscious ones. And this is where the truth becomes unavoidable. If you are not yet at peace with yourself, the soulmate will not fix it. They will only reflect it. If your heart is guarded, their love will feel distant. If your mind is restless, their steadiness may seem too still. If you doubt your own worth, you may question their affection. Their presence will not erase your inner conflict. It will bring it to the surface, gently but relentlessly. Because that is what mirrors do. They do not lie and they do not distort. They simply show what is. This is why inner work is not optional. You cannot run from yourself in a soulmate connection. You cannot hide behind charm, humor, or control. They will see through it all, not because they are trying to expose you, but because their very presence calls your highest self to the front and your lower self to attention. They will not fight your battles for you, but they will stand beside you as you fight them. They will not carry your wounds, but they will not let you ignore them either. A soulmate doesn't just love who you are, they challenge you to become who you are meant to be. If your inner world is full of unresolved pain, insecurity, or resentment, the mirror they hold up will reflect all of it. You may feel tempted to blame them, to say they triggered you, made you feel small, made you uncomfortable, but in truth, they only revealed what was already there, waiting to be addressed, and this is the sacred opportunity of a soulmate, growth, not comfort. A true soulmate sees you clearly, not just the version you show the world. They feel your energy more than your words. They sense the gaps between your thoughts and your actions. They know when you are not aligned, even if you pretend otherwise. You cannot fake presence with them. They require authenticity because their soul recognizes your truth and also your lies. This is why soulmate love can be intense, because it is not always soft. It is not always sweet. It is not always easy, but it is always honest. It teaches you where you still have healing to do. It shows you where your boundaries are weak, where your fears are still alive, and where your light wants to shine, but hasn't yet been allowed to. But here is the beauty of that mirror. As you evolve, so does the reflection. As you heal, what is mirrored back becomes more peaceful. As you love yourself more deeply, you recognize and receive love more clearly. And the bond with your soulmate deepens, not because the connection changes, but because you do. So do not ask your soulmate to give you what you have not yet given yourself. Do not expect them to love parts of you that you still reject. Do not hand them the mirror and hope it will flatter you. Instead, use their reflection as guidance. Let their presence inspire you to become more whole, more conscious, more present. They are not here to rescue you. They are here to reflect you, and what they show you is not punishment. It is opportunity. The opportunity to rise, to confront, to release, to become. A soulmate does not walk your path for you, but they will walk beside you, reflecting the light you forget you carry. And in that reflection, you will come face to face not just with love, but with transformation. When the time comes to introduce yourself to your soulmate, you will feel the urge to say the right thing, to present the best version of yourself, to be memorable. But be careful, because the voice that wants to impress is often not your true voice. It is the ego, and ego speaks from fear. Ego performs. Ego seeks approval, but the soulmate speaks from truth. It does not perform. It does not chase. It simply expresses what is real, what is honest, what is felt. Speaking from the soul requires vulnerability. It demands that you release the need to be perfect and embrace the courage to be authentic. When you speak from the ego, your words are calculated, meant to create an image or control an outcome. But when you speak from the soul, your words carry the weight of your journey. They are rooted, not reactive. They do not aim to impress, but to connect. Your soulmate does not need a performance. They are not looking for clever words or rehearsed charm. They are searching for resonance, for something real, and the only thing that creates true resonance is presence. When you are fully present, fully grounded, and fully aligned with your own inner truth, your words naturally carry power, even if they are simple, even if they are few. Think of how many people speak from masks, from personas. They speak to be liked, to be validated, to gain something. But the soul does not speak to gain. It speaks to give. It offers understanding. It offers presence. It offers itself with no expectation. This kind of speech is rare, and that is why it is powerful. When you meet your soulmate, they will feel your energy long before they process your words. So speak slowly, speak sincerely, speak only when what you have to say is true. It is far better to say one sentence from the soul than 1,000 from the ego. Words from the soul have silence within them. They carry a stillness that lingers. Words from the ego, however, fade quickly, like smoke in the wind. You do not need to tell your soulmate how great you are. You need only be great in your being. You do not need to convince them you're worthy. You need only embody your worth, quietly, confidently, through your energy and actions. The soul does not seek applause. It is content with inner alignment. And when you live from this space, your voice becomes magnetic, not because it shouts, but because it rings true. Speaking from the soul also means listening from the soul. It means holding space without rushing to reply. It means being present with the other person's truth, without judgment, without defense. This kind of dialogue creates safety. It opens a space where both people can unfold naturally, without fear of being misunderstood or rejected. And this is the kind of space your soulmate is waiting for, not a spotlight, but a sanctuary. When you meet the one whose spirit aligns with yours, you won't need rehearsed lines. You won't need strategies or charm. You will need stillness. You will need honesty. You will need the courage to say, "This is who I am. This is what I've been through. This is what I value. If your soul feels called to walk beside mine, let's walk." No pressure. No push, just presence. The ego fears silence. It rushes to fill the gaps, but the soul trusts silence. It knows that in the stillness, everything becomes clear. So don't rush your words. Don't speak to fill space. Speak to build bridges. Speak only when your heart is in your voice.